Live from the Channels Television Global Headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and today we'll be focusing on the southeastern region. But before we get into that, let's have a look at our top stories making rounds at the moment. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate in the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. The president, who arrived on Thursday night, was received at the airport by the Ethiopian Deputy Chief of Protocol, Etsute Legacy, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and the Charge d'Affaires of the Nigerian Embassy in Ethiopia, Ambassador Nasir Aminu. Ambassador Tugar later briefed President Tinubu about the summit and some diplomatic wins for the country, a session that stretched until about 2 a.m. on Friday. Among the wins was the re-election of Ambassador Bankole Adeoye as African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. Nigeria also retains its seat on the African Union Peace and Security Council, reaffirming, in the words of Ambassador Tugar, Nigeria's leadership and commitments to peace and security on the continent. At the briefing were Mr. Wale Adu, the Minister of Finance, Abubakar Badaru, Minister of Defense, Jumoke Oduwale, the Minister of Trade and Investment, Festus Keyamo, Minister of Aviation, Mohammed Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Balaribe Abbas Lawal, Minister of Environment, and Doris Uzoka Anite, Minister of State for Finance. The year's AU Summit, under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations, focuses on reparatory justice and racial healing. President Tinubu will deliver a speech at the summit-level meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council, where discussions will focus on current security challenges on the continent, including the escalating conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. President Tinubu is scheduled to return to Abuja on Monday, February 17. And now let's move to some of the revelation by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, moments ago, where he said that they have begun contactless system for passport renewal in Canada this month, February, and would be introducing it in Africa and Asia later in March. Mr. Tunji-Ojo also spoke on how his administration intends to prefer solutions to the medical situation in correctional centers. He was speaking on our program, Sunrise Daily.
I'm happy today that anybody that comes into the country from Lagos or Abuja, as we speak, the era of waiting you bring come by some officers is gone. And all you do now is put your passport scan, the e-gate records you, you go, nobody stamps your passport anymore. You know, we've joined that league. And of course, the APs that we deployed, even Interpol confirmed, you know, a lot of people on Interpol wanted list, criminals have been apprehended at our borders now between December and now. We promised the contactless passport solution, and I'm happy that in November we started in Canada. Last week, Friday, precisely a week ago, we started in UK and in Europe. And we'll be starting 7th of March in Africa, inclusive of Nigeria and Asia, because in line with project management principle, you can't start everything at the same time. We started with Canada, use that to test the solution, because the solution was 100% built by Nigerians. It's an indigenous solution, all right? So, because we sincerely believe that we need to also give opportunities for Nigerians to excel.
River State Governor Simone Alayo Fubara has given assurances that no challenge facing his administration is insurmountable, emphasizing that his government has something that is bigger than any trouble that you can imagine. Governor Fubara stated this after the swearing-in of the chairman and members of the Assembly Service Commission and Local Government Service Commission at the Government House in Port Harcourt. He noted that the Assembly Service Commission is fully constituted to handle promotions, disciplinary actions, and other critical responsibilities. He charged the Local Government Service Commission to address the issue of ghost workers for effective implementation of the 85,000 Naira minimum wage, as well as proper promotion of staff. We start off in Abia State, where the state's governor, Dr. Alex Oti, has expressed his readiness of his administration to work with the European Union for the development of the various sectors of the state's economy. Speaking during a working visit to the EU delegation to Nigeria, led by the head of corporation, Mr. Massimo De Luca, At the Governor's Country Home in Isialangwa South Local Government Area, Dr. Alex Oti identified agriculture, power sector, restoration of public water schemes, health, among other things, as areas his administration would be needing support and collaboration with the EU.
The delegation of the European Union, led by the head of cooperations of the European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mr. Massimo De Luca, is exploring areas of collaboration and the possibility of developing different forms of franchise in Abia State. Mr. De Luca and his team commenced their visit with a roundtable discussion with the governor, Dr. Alex Oti, and some members of his cabinet. After which they embark on a facility tour of the geometric power plant, where they interface with the management of Abia Integrated Power, acknowledging that the government needs private sector participation and development partners. He says the state is ready to work with the European Union to build up various sectors of the state's economy.
The rice plantation, I think it's about 250 hectares, right?
Yes, starting with first 150.
150. So that's just scratching the surface. Then if you move towards Abia, then it's all rice fields. So we really require some support.
This visit affords them an opportunity to assess the progress of power distribution and explore potential partnerships.
My presence here is really to assess where we are in terms of alternative forms of distribution, the possibilities of developing new forms of franchise, to expand effective franchising in Abia and in Nigeria, hoping that Abia may remain really the lead and the example to follow also for other states in Nigeria.
The workshop is very important because in a
Dr. Oti also suggests support for the standardization of made-in-Abia goods and agriculture produce for export to the European market as another area of collaboration which he believes will be a game changer for the state's economy.
Staying in Abia State, the state's governor, Dr. Alex Oti, has officially flagged off 2 major road projects expected to improve connectivity and stimulate economic activities in the region. Flagging off the project at the Umuekia Primary School, Isialangwa South Local Government Area, Dr. Alex Oti said the dualized Owerinta-Umueka Road on completion would create an inviting experience for road users coming into Abia from the Imo and Anambra state areas.
Dr. Alex Oti arrives Umuekia Primary School for the official flag-off of the reconstruction and dualization of the 5.5-kilometer Owerinta-Umueka Road in Isialangwa South Local Government Area of Abia State. He is accompanied by the European Union and the ECOWAS delegation. Addressing stakeholders, including traditional rulers, clergymen and Labour Party faithful, Dr. Alex Oti says the completion of this dual carriageway will be a major boost to the Southeast Economic Integration Project.
The completion of this dual carriageway will be a major boost to the Southeast Economic Integration Project, enabling smooth flow of interstate trade through cost-effective transportation of people and goods. A dual carriageway, Owerinta-Umueka Road, will encourage investors to look positively to this part of the state.
In their respective remarks, the chairman of Isialangwa South, Chiedozie Nwogugo, and Senator Darlington Nwokocha say the council area has not witnessed the kind of infrastructural development being witnessed under the Dr. Alex Oti-led administration.
This road is a vital link, not only connecting us to other parts of the state, but also fostering economic growth and development for our people.
The training alone you are giving to Abia workers, your appointees, institutionalizing so many other things far beyond road construction. But thank God, there are visible and invisible legacies. Today we are here to mark a visible legacy.
Dr. Alex Oti then proceeds to Orie Agalaba Junction in Obingwa local government area to launch the construction of the Ohanze Akirika-Obu Road, which links Obingwa and Ukwal East local government areas.
Our company, Paseo Carretera, is proud to take this project. We promise to build a strong, high-quality road with a proper drainage to ensure it lasts for many years.
The dualized Owerenta-Umwika Road, which has 18 months delivery period, and the construction of Ohanze Akirika-Obu Road projects in Abia State will create an inviting experience for road users coming into Abia from neighboring states of Imo and Anambra, among others.
In its ongoing efforts to eliminate criminal elements, operatives of the Ebonyi State Police Command, in collaboration with troops of the Nigerian Army, have continued an onslaught against hoodlums linked to an attack on Amegun Kalaha community in Ishielu local government area of the state. In a press statement signed by the police spokesperson SP Joseph Okandu and obtained by Channels Television on Friday, stated that the security operatives acted on credible intelligence to target hoodlum camps in Amegu and Umelesha villages within the Nkalaha community. According to the statements, the hoodlums, upon seeing the operatives, opened fire. However, the brave operatives engaged them and overpowered the criminals with superior firepower, adding that the suspects fled into the bush and one suspect was apprehended during the operation. Ukandu noted that the operatives destroyed the hoodlum shrines and camps in both villages, recovering 2 Dane guns, a mobile phone and a motorcycle in the process. Welcome back. In Anambra State, activists in the state are questioning the competence of federal security operatives in tackling issues of missing persons, despite several tracking avenues, including through national identification number, mobile communications, and many more. In Oka, while Comrade Osita Obi is calling on the police to track and find the suspects. One, Mr. Benjamin Uzuchukwu Ezema, an estate developer in Oka who disappeared since 12th of November 2024 and is yet to be found. Senatorial aspirant and lawyer from Anambra South Senatorial Zone, Mr. Donald Chidi, insists that enough is not being done to tackle insecurity in Anambra South.
The administration of Professor Chukwuma Soludo has been intentional in tackling security issues. Apart from establishing the Bureau of Missing Persons, in 2024, the governor also set up the Commission of Inquiry into immediate and remote causes of violence and other crimes in the state, headed by human rights activist and former chairman of the Nigerian Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu. After sitting for several months, the commission is ready with its recommendations to the state government.
Some things must not be negotiable if we are going to answer the light of the nation. That when it comes to the lives of our people, we'll say no. That when it comes to the lives, if we are going to build a livable homeland, every Igbo person must matter.
In light of the revelations, an Oka-based human rights activist, Osita Obi, decries what he describes as the absence of records, incidents in society, especially the issue of people disappearing without a trace.
Big Ben, that is Benjamin Ezema, is 34 years old. 34 years old. And he is co-founder and the executive director, one of the executive director of Dubai Estate here in Oka. He got mixing 12th November 2024. Up to date, he is still missing. Where is DSS? Where is the Office of National Security Advisor? We want this man to be found. If he cannot be found, we want his abductors to be found. It is possible.
Another activist, a lawyer and senatorial aspirant from Anambra State, South Senatorial Zone, Mr. Donald Chidi, decries the level of insecurity in Anambra South.
For years, Anambra South, particularly Ihiala, Nnewi South, Orumba South, and other parts of our district have been under siege by non-state actors. kidnappers, criminal elements who have turned our once thriving communities into theaters of fear and bloodshed. Our people who are predominantly traders, industrialists, farmers, and professionals now live in perpetual anxiety, unable to go about their lawful businesses.
While these concerns may be genuine, the police, under the watch of the former Anambra State Police Commissioner, says a major crackdown helped resolve the case of the missing Anambra lawmaker who was kidnapped on December 24, 2024.
The most notorious among them is one Peter Sunday, age 20, who has a big tattoo, as you see, on his chest. No peace for the government. What is worrying is when you look at the age bracket of these youths, it's quite unfortunate and disheartening that we have people at this age so deep into criminality, and it's a thing of concern.
The state also seems to be quite aware of the situation and what needs to be done. An expedited action on the Homeland Security Law that empowered the Aguna Chamber Strike Force to commence operations. Governor Chukwuma Soludo reiterates that it's not going to be business as usual when it comes to securing the homeland.
The massive revolution by administration in all sectors, which are appreciated by the Anambra, must be cemented with a robust security system with zero tolerance for criminality. I want to assure you that despite the unique challenges of lucrative criminality and done with deceptive ideology and propaganda, we are determined to fight criminality and ensure that Anambra becomes the safest state in Nigeria.
While the state government is playing its part, it urges other security agencies to step up their game to resolve cases of missing persons so their families can have closure.
Now to the education sector. The Federal Polytechnic Oko in Urumba North Local Government Area of Anambra State comes alive with joy and excitement as the newly appointed rector, Mrs. Chioma Awuzie, vows to take the 46-year-old institution to a new level of academic infrastructural growth and transformation. The rector disclosed this during the presentation of her inaugural address to the Polytechnic community at the school's convocation arena. The entire Polytechnic, in one accord, expressed joy at her appointment and hailed her 12-point agenda for the institution.
The atmosphere is charged with sounds of music and happy faces. In a procession welcoming the newly appointed rector of the Federal Polytechnic Oko in Urumba North Local Government Area of Anambra State, Mrs. Chioma Awuzie. The excitement emanating from the students and staff is a clear indication that our appointment has the mandate of the institution as their preferred candidate. Mrs. Awuzie is heralded into the convocation arena where the Polytechnic community awaits her inaugural address. Chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Federal Polytechnic Oko chapter, says our emergence is totally unprecedented.
Under 1 week, we had 3 rectors. Under 1 week, we have Dr. Obato, we had Gonwoke, and today God has blessed us with a substantive rector. Dr. Chioma Irene Awuzie as that particular person that will answer our prayers.
Mrs. Chioma Awuzie takes over as the 6th substantive rector of the Federal Polytechnic Oko, following the approval of her appointment by President Bola Tinubu on February the 5th, 2025.
It's by his divine ordination that we gather here to usher in a new era of growth, transformation, and excellence. I am deeply honored to accept this role, entrusted to me at a time when our institution is poised to embrace new possibilities and overcome emerging challenges. Together, we have the opportunity to shape the future of our Polytechnic, ensuring that it continues to fulfill its mandate as a premier institution dedicated to technical, vocational, and entrepreneurial education.
She promises that under her watch, a 12-point agenda will be pursued to cover staff and students' welfare, as well as infrastructural and security transformation.
As we embark on this new chapter in the history of this model of learning, our administration is firmly committed to a transformative vision and affiliated on a 12-point agenda. We firmly believe that our staff is the backbone of this institution. To ensure they remain at the forefront of academic and administrative excellence, we will invest in their continual professional development, equipping them with the latest skills and knowledge to deliver high-quality education and services. We will foster an environment of inclusiveness, respect, and productivity.
While many are happy that for the first time a rector is appointed from within, others use the occasion to draw her attention to challenges.
So everybody is happy because we prayed for it, we worked for it, and we really did everything that we know how to do, everybody, to ensure that this happened.
We have a lot to table before her. The inclusivity of students, we have needs for student hostels, we have needs for conducive environments, we have needs for channel of communication, for student grievances.
While others list their expectations from her.
And we are specifically delighted over our statements identifying that staff welfare is very critical. And there's no way we can have an environment or an institution where there is happiness, where people are excited and willing to work, where productivity is very high, without seeing an institution that cares about the welfare of staff.
Everybody's interested in 25% government said they're going to pay us, they've not gotten it. So we pray that with her presence, she will now make moves and ensure through the government, through the powers that be, that all these things are given to workers.
Mrs. Awuzie holds a doctorate degree in physical and material chemistry. She's a distinguished chief lecturer in the Department of Science, Laboratory Technology, and also a director in charge of tertiary education trust fund projects in the Polytechnic.
Following reports of sale of adulterated petroleum products, members of the Association of Imo Petroleum Marketers have debunked allegations of sales of adulterated petroleum and related products to the members of the general public, especially in Imo State. Briefing newsmen in Owerri, the Imo State capital, the chairman of the association, Mr. Chidebere Okorafor, says some unscrupulous elements are being sponsored to undermine the integrity of its members by spreading falsehood in a bid to tarnish the reputation of the legitimate businesses of its members who had worked diligently over the years to build a solid reputation in the industry. He says members of his association do not support or engage in the sale of adulterated petroleum products, and they remain committed to upholding industry standards and ensuring that only quality and legally approved products are made available to the public.
Following the aforementioned, notably the law enforcement and court processes, the incorporated trustees of Association of Imo Petroleum Marketers and Dealers and members of the association stated that the actions of Henschel Chigozie Nwozuzu have not only disrupted the legitimate business operations of the association and its members, but have also caused unnecessary panic among consumers and stakeholders in the petroleum sector. The association firmly condemns any attempt to undermine the integrity of its members and have consistently adhered to industry regulations and best practices. That the incorporated trustees of the Association of Imo Petroleum Marketers and Dealers remain committed to transparency, fair business practices, and compliance with all regulatory requirements. The association urges the general public, law enforcement agencies, and relevant authorities to remain vigilant against individuals who engage in falsehood, blackmail, and other unlawful activities aimed at tarnishing the reputation of legitimate businesses. The incorporated trustees of the Association of Imo Petroleum Marketers and Dealers categorically state that since all law enforcement agencies have thoroughly investigated and exonerated our members, we unequivocally debunk any allegations from any quarters suggesting that any member of our association engages in the sale of adulterated fuel in any part of Imo State. our members remain fully committed to delivering the best and most reliable petroleum products, ensuring optimum service to the good people of Imo State and its environs.
And that's where we draw the curtain on this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.